there. Demonstrators in the Iraqi capital also criticized military intervention by Gulf states during the recent crackdown in Bahrain. It comes as a US-based medical charity says the government attacked medical workers treating protesters. Charles Stratford has the story.
Anti-government protests on the streets of the Bahraini capital, Manama, and a brutal response by the country's security services. The majority of the dead and injured were brought here to Salmania Hospital, the country's largest modern medical facility. But here, where they should have felt safe, the injured and the attendant staff's nightmare was just beginning.
We believe that the government of Bahrain has systematically targeted physicians and other medical personnel because they are the ones who have the evidence of the atrocities committed by these government security forces. They were the ones who treated the civilian protesters when they were wounded by gunshot by the security forces. These wounded and injured civilians went to the hospital. The physicians and nurses treated them, and ever since then they have been targeted, systematically round up, taken from their homes in the middle of the night, dragged out of their homes in front of children and their families, handcuffed, blindfolded, and taken to unknown detention facilities.
Al Jazeera's correspondents in Bahrain describe a climate of fear. Doctors who spoke to us were subsequently arrested, and injured patients were treated no differently.
We received chilling accounts of patients being dragged out of their hospital wards, handcuffed. One nurse reported that she saw trails of blood that night when a dozen or so patients were beaten, kicked, stomped on, cursed at by the security forces who are controlling and administering Salmania Hospital.
Bahrain has a Muslim Shia majority but is ruled by a Sunni minority. The Shias say their protests are aimed at securing equal political representation and opportunities for better employment and proper housing. Bahrain's Sunni neighbour Saudi Arabia provided 2,000 troops to help quell the protests, a reflection of the regional politics and the perception of this tiny state as a red line that cannot be crossed. And a muted response from Washington. Bahrain is home to the American Navy's Fifth Fleet.
The U.S. government has a specific interest in Bahrain. It considers Bahrain one of its closest allies in the region, and it is very important for the Obama administration to speak out against such violations.
Bahrain today exists in an uneasy calm, but the fabric of society has been torn apart. Many analysts say the government crackdown is creating sectarian divisions far deeper than ever before. Charles Stratford, Al Jazeera.
Iran's supreme leader denies his country is directly interfering in Bahrain, but Ayatollah Ali Khamenei says the Islamic Republic is not indifferent to events in the region, and he lashed out at what he called oppressive engagement of arrogant powers.
They claim that Iran is interfering. What interference? They say Iran has been interfering in Bahrain, Libya, and Yemen. We have expressed our explicit views. We have never been scared of hollow powers and never will be.